I was a child, I was repeatedly raped and tortured by a family member who was also a youth pastor. He was really good, like all sexual aggressors, to manipulate victims to make them believe that it is their fault. And even though he was twice my age and he was an adult, he made sure that I would keep my silence to protect my family, to protect the projects, to protect my sisters. And he kept me silent for over 8 months, where he repeatedly raped me almost daily. I developed bulimia, and then I developed anorexia. I tried to commit suicide twice. I dropped from high school, and pretty much my life went downhill. And my parents knew that there was something wrong going on, but they could never imagine that I was being raped in my own home by a family member. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. When I got to Bolivia, I realized I was one of the first adolescents to take a rape crime to court. So I received a lot of backlash and intimidation from the judicial system, from the community, from what I call my ex-family, from the government to try to silence me. My house was set on fire twice. I was almost run over by cars several times. I was threatened to be killed several times. My house was stoned. And the system was so horrible that even my case was taken to the agriculture and livestock court, where they deal with matters of animals. I had to take my case to the constitutional court 3 times. And at the last trial, I had 3 trials. At the last trial, my aggressor escaped, and now he's a fugitive of justice. He's being searched by Interpol. When I started going to the trial system, the only thing that kept me going was to think that there were women before me who worked so hard to even have a code in the legal system saying that this wasn't right. But I also thought about the hundreds of girls who were going to be behind me, and they didn't have a mom and a dad who fight as hard as my parents did. And I just couldn't be silent. I couldn't ask any other girl to break the silence if I wasn't willing to open the path for them. There's nothing in my life that I could do right now that is other than what I'm doing. It's just my life purpose is to make sure that no other child, no other girl suffers what I went through.
Check A. C.
I thought it was going to be something small. I just wanted to let them know that they're not alone and that I believe in them, because that's all I wanted to hear, and nobody told me that. So we started the program, and a lot of children started coming, and I realized that we had to do a lot more than just that, and that's when we started providing free legal, social, and psychological services. Many of these children come from very violent families, but they have been able to use their traumatic experience to bring hope and to bring healing and to make sure that they can be a new generation. And what's really exciting is to see how the whole system is changing, the whole culture is changing. So it's changing the whole culture of saying children won't be harmed, and if they're harmed, there's going to be a consequence.
Cuando yo tenía 12, mi padre abusó sexualmente de mí. Cuando tenía 17, rompí el silencio a mi mamá. No sabíamos qué hacer, mi mamá estaba súper mal, se sentía culpable. Es como que dicen, ¿no? Las mamás se sienten culpables y todo, y mi mamá se sentía muy culpable. Y empezamos a buscar ayuda y qué hacer. Fuimos a la defensoría, fuimos al juzgado, a un montón de lugares donde nos despacharon y nos decían aquí no corresponde, aquí no corresponde. Cuando hemos decidido crear la red de niños y niñas adolescentes contra la violencia sexual, lo hicimos con el hecho de decir a la población, de decir a los niños que ellos no son los culpables, que ellos no tienen la culpa. Yo me sentía culpable, yo me sentía mal por separar a mi familia y todo, y he dicho, no, yo no tengo la culpa. Ha sido gracias a las chicas que hemos hecho la red, que hemos dicho que nosotras no somos las culpables y que el mundo tiene que enterarse que nosotros no hemos hecho nada malo, sino el agresor.
I think there's been huge changes. For example, in 2013, until 2013, if a victim married an aggressor, that aggressor would never be able to take to court for rape. So what was happening, it was 13-year-olds were being married to 40-year-old men to make sure that this man will never go to court for rape. We were able to take this to the Inter-American Court, and in 2013 it was taken out of the legal codes. We've also have another law that makes every TV channel or radio station or media that works in Bolivia have to give us access to talk about human rights, about sexual violence, about how children can get help. So there's been a lot of awareness thanks to this, and there's been a lot of changes in the whole view of how people see children and how to respect their rights.
Me han ayudado bastante, en serio. Muchos. Me vas a serio. Sí, le pruebamos cuando usted.
I think it's a very slow battle, but I think that there's a lot of wins. I know that maybe I won't see what I expect in my generation, but I know that there's enough seeds that have been planted that I can be gone and nobody's stopping this. They're not going to silence them anymore. These girls have lifted their voice, and nobody's going to take their truth away. There's no one who's going to take their dreams away. So even though it's a very slow win, I feel that we're winning.
Brisa and her family divide their time between Bolivia and the United States, where she raises funds for her charity. Brisa has won several international awards for her work. We'd love to have your input, so if you know someone who is helping change the world, drop us a line at an@cgtnamerica.com or tweet us at CGTNAmerica and tell us about a game changer you would like to see on the show.
America's Now.